The last Russian autocrat and his wife went down in history as a couple who valued love above power. Nicholas II and Alexandra Feodorovna could not steer the vast empire through its swirling crises and contradictions. But in their personal lives, they found a rare happiness that even the simplest hearts dream of. Their marriage was not a calculated alliance but a story of genuine love that began long before coronations and state affairs. In the summer of 1884, 12-year-old German Princess Alex met the heir to the Russian throne at the wedding of her elder sister, Ella, who had taken the Orthodox name Elizabeth Feodorovna. 16-year-old Nicholas, still untouched by the weight of future power, saw a girl with radiant eyes and felt his heart captured. Legend has it he even dared to give Alex a small gift, a delicate brooch, cleverly obtained from his mother. 5 years later, they met again. Alex had blossomed from a shy girl into a refined young woman. 21-year-old Nicholas couldn't take his eyes off her. Soon after her departure, he wrote in his diary, resolute, "I will marry only her." And fate heard his quiet vow. In 1894, after the death of Alexander III, Nicholas ascended the throne and, that same year, led his beloved to the altar. Alex, now Alexandra Feodorovna in the Orthodox faith, became Russia's last empress, the woman he loved until his final days. The love story of Nicholas II and Princess Alex is often seen as near perfect from the start, a fairy tale romance of two souls destined for each other. But, like any real love story, their relationship was far less predictable, with life throwing challenges that kept them apart for years. 5 long years passed between their second meeting and their wedding. In that time, they could have lost each other amid the whirlwind of events pulling them in different directions. Nicholas, heir to the Russian throne, lived the full life of a Tsarevich. Following Romanov tradition, he found himself entangled in a fleeting romance with the captivating Petersburg ballerina Mathilde Kschessinska. This affair was a test of his feelings, a subtle trial that delayed but never erased his deep desire to marry Alex. Princess Alex's life was equally full, surrounded by social duties, friendships, and family ties. Yet her attachment to Nicholas only grew stronger. Distance and waiting deepened their feelings, preparing them for a union that would soon defy all obstacles. Some historians suggest Nicholas's meeting with Mathilde Kschessinska in 1890 was no accident. Perhaps his parents, Alexander III and Maria Feodorovna, encouraged this charming but temporary connection. It might be mere rumor, or perhaps a deliberate attempt to spark Nicholas's taste for worldly romances, diverting him from dreams of marrying a German princess whose intentions seemed too serious. Meanwhile, Nicholas's feelings for Alex grew undeniable, noticed by his parents and court circles alike. This stirred concern in the imperial family. The emperor and empress wanted a politically advantageous match for Nicholas to bolster Russia's international standing. To Alexander III, a French princess, Helena of Orleans, seemed a better choice to strengthen ties with France. Maria Feodorovna, raised with a strong dislike for all things German, was outraged by her son's affection for Alex, believing her sister Elizabeth Feodorovna had encouraged it without her approval. Adding to their worries was the risk of hereditary illness in Alex's family. Cases of hemophilia were known, and Nicholas's parents understood the danger of a marriage that could produce an unhealthy heir. Yet Princess Alex of Hesse was a worthy match for the Russian heir. Her pedigree was impeccable. Granddaughter of Queen Victoria and daughter of an influential German duke, Alex could grace any European monarchy. Exquisitely educated, well-read, and intelligent, she was known for her golden hair, refined manners, and serious, captivating gaze. She was one of the most sought-after brides of her time. The details of Nicholas's early romance with Mathilde Kschessinska remain shrouded in mystery. Their meeting in 1890, lost in a haze of court gossip, was neither passionate nor long-lasting. As expected of a Romanov heir, Nicholas embarked on a year-long world tour on an imperial ship. The journey, a test of his independence, separated him from both the court and the young ballerina, whose feelings, as she later admitted, were filled with anxious waiting. She feared Nicholas might simply forget her, their connection still young and almost platonic. But upon returning to Petersburg, Nicholas sought Mathilde out, and their relationship quietly resumed, becoming a topic of whispers among society. For the next 3 years, they met in secret, and for Nicholas, this hidden romance was a private escape, tucked behind the grandeur and rigidity of the imperial court. The opposition of Emperor Alexander III and Maria Feodorovna couldn't stop Nicholas's determination to marry Alex. As illness weakened the emperor and he realized his time was short, Alexander finally consented to his son's marriage. In 1894, Nicholas's engagement to Alex marked the end of his connection with Mathilde Kschessinska. Nicholas met Mathilde to personally end their romance. The farewell was calm, without drama. Neither the Tsarevich nor Mathilde felt deep regret. In her memoirs, she only noted feeling very melancholy in the months that followed. Thus closed this chapter of Nicholas's life, quietly and painlessly, making way for a new era tied to his fateful choice and union with Alex. Despite the sorrow of losing his father, Nicholas, now emperor, found solace and joy in his upcoming marriage to his beloved Alex, now Empress Alexandra Feodorovna. A curious detail of their union was Nicholas's openness about his past with Mathilde Kschessinska. He shared this chapter of his life with Alexandra, whose diaries from those years survive. She wrote that she was struck by Nicholas's trust in her. No one doubted Nicholas's deep love for his wife, least of all Alexandra, who saw no threat or rivalry in his past. Her comments about Mathilde were restrained and vague, and after their marriage, she dismissed the ballerina as any kind of rival. Nicholas ended things with Mathilde immediately after the wedding, making the break final. Yet Mathilde likely remained an uncomfortable memory for Alexandra. Right after the wedding, Nicholas arranged a symbolic farewell to his bachelor days and the time when Mathilde was still part of his life. He asked Grand Duke Sergei Mikhailovich to continue looking after the ballerina and made an unusual request. Nicholas asked Sergei to tell Mathilde to step into her garden at a specific time. When she did, on that crisp autumn day, the imperial cortege of the young emperor and his wife passed by slowly. From the carriage window, Nicholas raised a hand in a simple but meaningful goodbye to his past. Alexandra, likely witnessing this gesture, could hardly have been indifferent. It may have deepened her unease, even her dislike for the ballerina, casting Mathilde as a shadow Nicholas had now firmly left behind. Alexandra Feodorovna's feelings toward Mathilde Kschessinska were never loud or public. The empress avoided scandals and sharp words. But one subtle hint spoke louder than any confession. It came after one of Mathilde's benefit performances, special theatre evenings where all proceeds went to the star. By tradition, imperial figures gifted the performer a valuable item bearing the state emblem. Mathilde, however, found these gifts tasteless and heavy. Among her inner circle, she complained, hoping for something more refined for her benefit. Once, she confided to Grand Duke Sergei Mikhailovich, anything but that clunky trinket with the double-headed eagle. The Grand Duke promised to help and passed her words to the emperor. Nicholas, gentle and unconcerned with theatrical vanity, likely agreed without much thought. Soon, Mathilde received a gift that matched her dreams. An elegant brooch, a diamond serpent coiled in a circle, shimmering with cold brilliance. But the key detail lay in the message Sergei delivered from the emperor. We chose this gift together with the empress. In that gift was something more than generosity. Nicholas likely didn't insist on those words. It was probably Alexandra who ensured Mathilde knew whose hand helped choose it, a subtle but pointed message. Mathilde proudly displayed the brooch, claiming the serpent symbolized wisdom. But its true meaning was different. To Alexandra, with her keen insight, the serpent wasn't just wisdom, it hinted at cold cunning, deceit, and guile. The brooch Mathilde loved to show off was, in Alexandra's eyes, not a jewel but a mark. A mark on the heart of a woman who had dared to touch what the empress claimed wholly as her own. What do you think? Did Alexandra Feodorovna embed a hidden meaning in this gift, or is it just a beautiful legend? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your take. If you enjoyed this glimpse behind the curtain of Imperial Russia, be sure to like and subscribe for more stories of secrets, intrigues, and unexpected twists in history.